Joining me now from Capitol Hill is NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapur. Sahil, so help us understand what's in this newly released text of this agenda bill, and what would it change about how Medicaid is handled?
Hey, Aaron. Well, the bill has significant cuts and structural changes to Medicaid that House Republicans are planning to mark up and vote out of committee tomorrow. That's the Energy and Commerce Committee. Specifically, there are limitations to Medicaid in the form of work requirements for able-bodied adults under 65. They have to prove that they're working or trying to find work or doing community service to a significant degree to access any Medicaid benefits at all. There are tougher eligibility screenings, verifications to make sure that people are citizens. People who are not citizens aren't getting Medicaid. There are also federal Medicaid funding cuts to states who allow coverage for undocumented people. All in all, the bill does not include the most aggressive ideas that Republicans were considering that would save the most amount of money, including per capita caps on Medicaid spending, as well as reducing the federal burden on the Medicaid population, especially the Medicaid expansion population under ACA from what is currently 90%. The Congressional Budget Office nevertheless estimates that the entire health care section of this bill would include cuts and savings of $715 billion and rescind coverage for 8.6 million people in the United States. That is the part that Democrats are going to be focusing heavily on, arguing that this bill goes too far and hurts too many people.
You know, we also saw House Republicans unveil the text of a tax proposal today. We know this text left out a decision on how much to lift the cap on state and local tax deduction SALT. What do we know about the battle there that's ongoing?
Well, essentially, the Ways and Means Committee, which is also planning to mark up this tax bill tomorrow, is punting on one of the most difficult questions within the conference, which is what to do about the state and local tax deduction, which Republicans capped at $10,000 during the first Trump presidency. There are a whole slew of Republicans, at least a dozen of them, in high-tax states like New York and New Jersey who insist on raising that cap because it hurts their constituents the most. What the Ways and Means Committee is doing is essentially punting that question, putting in a number, a $30,000 limit that these Republicans have said is inadequate. At least many of them have said is inadequate. It's precisely the deal that they rejected. And one pro-SALT Republican told me, quote, "We are not budging on this, and the bill as written will not receive any of our votes." Unquote. In other words, there are at least 4 Republicans who are going to vote against this bill if it reaches the floor, and 4 Republicans is enough to scuttle this in the entire House, Aaron.
Let me ask you, too, before I let you go. President Trump has been floating increasing the tax rate for the highest earners. We've heard him talk about that recently. How is that being received by Republicans in Congress?
Not well. They've pretty much emphatically rejected President Trump's idea here. They also see it for what it is, which is a half-baked float. Every time President Trump puts this out there, either quietly or frontally, he kind of hedges, he walks it back, he says, I'm not really committed to it. He worries that the Democrats would attack the Republicans for doing this. So at the end of the day, the Republican Party is still essentially where it is on party orthodoxy, which is that they don't want to increase taxes on anyone, certainly not affluent earners. Aaron?
All right, Sahil Kapur for us on the Hill today. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.